inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for.
Let's give it up for Maria, Christina, and Luis. Yay! Woo!
Well, aloha.
Aloha. Mama's back.
And if you're wondering what she's talking about, if you weren't here last week, she was gone. And so were a lot of you, because we had some rain last week, did we not?
Oh my God.
Wow. It was
I heard all about it.
I called
But
Rita.
I didn't feel
said,
sorry for you because I was in 27-degree weather, so.
So, welcome. Have a seat. We're going to start out here.
Yeah.
This is Reverend Rita. I'm Reverend Patrick. Maria over there, and Luis was there doing some drum stuff.
And you are at Center for Spiritual Living Kauai, and we have a few announcements before we start. I know you love our announcements.
Oh, yes.
I just know it.
Okay, but we're going to say them as gently and as quickly as we possibly can. We do these wonderful announcements because we have so much going on here. We are not just a Sunday center. We are a 7-day-a-week center. So that means we have a lot of things going on. And one thing is, every month we have our birthday Sunday, and if you could, if you choose a month, there's 12 months, obviously, in a year, and we just need someone once a month to bring the treat at the end of the month, so the sign-up is out at the table. And right after this service, we have a very busy day today. Right after this, we have Rap with the Revs. That's when Rita and I take our rapping skills and we share them with you. And no, actually what that is that we have an opportunity to come together as community and just to get to know each other just a little more. So we've been doing it a while, very successful. We get to know you, not just a face that's sitting in the crowd. We just kind of, people that are visiting, we just have an opportunity to get together right afterwards, after we do a little social.
And 4 p.m. today, you are invited to acknowledge and celebrate with Reverend Diane Decker, who is celebrating her ordination.
Who looks like she's already celebrating
she's already
quite a bit over there. She looks
Stand up.
Wow.
Woo.
That
Anyway.
Reverend Diane parties early. That's all I got to say.
So the party is being held at Lidgate South Park, the other way, on the, not turning toward where the lifeguard stand is, but the other way. And all the directions of what to bring and what to do is on the information table. So join Reverend Diane at 4 p.m. at Lidgate. And then Spiritual Living Circles with Rebecca DeRose is actually this Thursday at 3:30 to 5 in Kalaheo. If you live in Kalaheo, you can become part of that group. They take an article from the Science of Mind magazine, and they just bring it into life and discuss it and have a really good conversation in a small setting in her home. Yes.
That's great. And Anna Myers is here, too. She has one up in Princeville. Oh, there she is. Hello.
And hers is at the end of the month.
And hers is the end of the month. So there she is if you need to talk to her. Okay, we have the Abundance program starting this Thursday. When's it starting? This Thursday. So 21 days, 6 hours, you will be putting an MD behind your name. MD behind your name, Master Demonstrator. That's what you will be, what you already are, but we're going to spend 3 weeks reminding ourselves of that. And we are so excited about this. If you've never taken a class here and you were thinking about it, invest in yourself for these 3 weeks. I hardly ever do that, and I don't even use the word guarantee, but if you'll invest in yourself, 21 days later, you'll see the change. I really feel that, know that, and intend that. Yes? And then next week is the men and women's group. You know what to do. Bring a little snack, share. The men go across the street to a disclosed area, and the women stay here in the center. So it's a wonderful time for us to also
And before I go any further, I have to acknowledge that today is Ruth Doobie's birthday. Yeah, we
Well, hey, oh.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, darling.
Yay. And, okay, so the next March, in March, I'm still grounding myself here. In March, on March 8th and 9th, I am celebrating my 65th birthday by doing my one-woman show that I did in back east and in California for 3 years. I toured with it. It's called Tomatoes on a Windowsill. It's all about my Italian family, and I play all the parts. But it's not just about Italian, it's about family. And it is I think it's inspiring and fun, and that you will not have a boring moment in that 1 hour and 15 minutes that it is. So please join me.
Who got the little peek of it when it was there? Yeah.
And I'm doing it as a fundraiser for the center, so all the proceeds go to the center. So yeah, join us on March 8th and 9th with an amazing director, Patrick.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going to mention me. If we were, yes.
Anyway,
there we go.
Okay, that's that. And then also we have a membership intention. We have 162 CSL Kauai members right now, and we would like to have 200 by the time we celebrate our birthday in July. And by next month, yeah, that'll be good too. And what does that mean? That means that you've committed to a spiritual journey and you've chosen this as your home. And it's always good to have somebody you can, support you on your spiritual journey. And it's practice, right? And it's good to have a family and a community to do that with. So if you choose to make CSL Kauai your home, talk to us or talk to Michelle LeMay, who's not here today, and consider being a member here. And I think that's it.
That is it.
Oh, I wanted to say one thing. Peter brings and Arlena bring these flowers every week. It's so amazing. And I know that if you just happen to want something for Valentine's Day, you might want to talk to them, because buying those roses at Safeway, it's not much better to have these beautiful arrangements by Peter and Arlena, I'm
How
sure.
lovely that was slipped in. Wasn't that lovely?
Anyway, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Great.
All right, are we ready? Yeah. Okay, you want me to light it? Okay, so let's just get away from all that. Just settle right here and now. Ground ourselves on this beautiful island. I won't. Just take a moment for peace, recognizing that peace begins right where we are and nowhere else. So bring yourself to that center of peace within you. It's there. It's there, right in your heart center. Just take a moment to breathe into that space, into that peace. And let's just be silent in this moment. And so it is. So welcome again to Center for Spiritual Living Kauai, where we practice the science of mind and spirit, a philosophy that's changed my life in so many ways, I cannot tell you all of them. but I'm here today because of this philosophy. And we practice the divinity in each and every one of us, and the power and responsibility that we can take for our lives through the power of our beliefs and our thoughts. And we bring that power into a law of cause and effect that makes everything so. And it's happening all the time. And practicing to me means that we just take that time every day to practice the divine presence, and then go out into the world with it and meet the world with it. And things change. They just do. It's all about how we look at life. So that's it.
It made me think about the spirituality takes practice. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we would like to come in and just get a nice little dose of it and then be done and then get back to business as usual. And what made me think of it is there's a couple people that I spoke with today that are visiting the island, and they're here for a couple weeks. And we are truly a global community because people come over here. But what I was the most amazed at, I was telling Rita, is that spirituality means so much that they Google ahead to find out if there's a place, they're from Unity, and to find out if there is a place that they can continue their spiritual practice while they're on vacation on this beautiful island. So you would think to yourself, that's all you'd need, right? But I think it goes deeper than that. When people are traveling and they're going, they're saying, you know what? I have a family all around the world, and I'm going to connect with them. And I'm so glad that people do that. So speaking of which, who is here for the very first time? Hi, I saw you over there. You can't run, you can't hide. We put these wonderful little things around your neck.
Though.
And then they light up too at the end. No, I'm just kidding. So you are here. Raise it again just so I can get a nice little look at you. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so the reason I did that is because we know something about you, and we are so excited to tell everybody. And we just have a few notes on each and every one of you. Some of your dearest friends have told us. Just kidding, but she's getting all like, I'm out of here. Okay, so all I want to know is we better let them know what we know right here, right now. Let's know. You are magnificent.
You are magnificent. Yeah.
And she is oh so relieved to know. So we know that about you because why? We know it about ourselves. So let's say it all together, shall we? I am magnificent. Now look to your left, to your right, to somebody. Oh, but before you do that,
Oh, it's too late.
It's too late. I can say that.
Right before.
Okay, so before you get up, I just want you to know there's some people watching us, so we need to say you are magnificent to all those people on the mainland and all the people that didn't get out of bed on time today, and they're all watching us. Let's tell them who they are. You are magnificent! Now let's get up and have our opening song and let our magnificence go with Maria and Luis.
Wide open. Love is all there is. I'm here to be open. Love is all there is. We're right here in love. Always, always. Love is all there is. Right here and wide open. Love is all there is. I'm here to be open. Love is all there is. We're right here in love. Always, always. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is.
I'm so saying hello to somebody here that that's all right. Okay, so grounding right here and right now in this love that I feel and know that it is the truth. It is who we are. Love, light, energy, source. It's everywhere, and it's in us. It's in each and every one of us, magnificently represented in that uniqueness and that glory and that perfection that we are. So I know we bring that here today to this service. We bring that here and right now. And we expand it, we grow. I know that. I claim that for each of us, that we grow in that magnificence, grow in that glory, and then bring it out into the world. So I bless this service. I bless this time together. I bless each and every person here. And know we are here on purpose, on divine right purpose, in the right time, in the right place, because that's what Spirit does. It places us right where we need to be in every moment. And I know that we can trust that, we can rely on it, and we can know that we are safe in that thing called Spirit, that thing called peace, that thing called love. So I claim it, I know it, and I just let it be so as we affirm together, and so it is.
Love is all there is, right here and right open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, right here, love away, away. Love is all there is, right here and right open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, right here, love away, away. Love is all there is. 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 All there is.
Love is all there is. But right now, we're going to go into a few minutes of meditation. So please get settled into your seats, ready to go within. And that's this special, beautiful place where actually God talks to you, Spirit talks to you. So I have a quote for you to take into that space. And it's a quote written by Ernest Holmes in his book, Science of Mind. If one wishes to demonstrate prosperity, he must first have a consciousness of prosperity. If one wishes to demonstrate prosperity, she must have a consciousness of prosperity. Enjoy your time. one wishes to demonstrate prosperity, he must first have a consciousness of prosperity. And as we come out of that quiet moment, I know that there is only one thing. And that one thing is what created the entire universe. That power, that spirit, is that creator of everything. And each of us has that spirit working in and through us, as us, in every moment of our lives. So, knowing this, I know that our thoughts are things. Our thoughts become the things that we hope for and wish for and determine will be in our lives. So with my divine-centered word, I declare right now that I believe in love. I believe in joy. I believe in perfect health and prosperity. I believe in it for myself and for each one of us. I am so grateful for this knowledge, for this understanding, and so grateful for the flow of good that comes into my life and into each person's lives. And so I release my word into that law that always says yes to my innermost beliefs as we affirm together. And so it is.
In this moment,
The chant is in your program.
in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you, Roseanne.
Mahalo, Roseanne.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody. Oh, God. I'm just knowing and trusting that what I have to say comes through me in the most perfect way, because I have a lot to say, but I don't have a lot of time to say it in. So I went on a trip. I called it my pilgrimage, because it really was. I went to see my mom in Florida, and she's 87 years old and just lost her husband and facing some health challenges. And I went to see my family in New York. And that's enough said. And I also stopped in California. That was my I have my little spiritual family there that kind of sandwiched the trip between that. So when I left, before I left, and when I came back, I got to sit in that consciousness. So that was great. So this month is all about abundance. And the talk today is called Where Are You Coming From? Where Are You Coming From? And abundance consciousness, as Roseanne said in her quote by Ernest Holmes, it starts in consciousness. And it's where you're coming from that creates abundance in your life. And what's abundance? To me, abundance is a lot of things. It's not just about money. It isn't, it can be about money, but it's not about that. It's about how we walk through life. How do we walk through life? The choices that we make, where are they coming from? I saw a lot of that when I was in New York. I was able to witness different consciousnesses of money, of money. People that had abundance consciousness, that had a lot of money, that didn't have abundance consciousness. They lived from a place of lack, even though they had a lot of money. So it's all about consciousness. It's not about what we have. This is not a get-rich-quick philosophy that says, you're going to get things. It's all about building consciousness. And when we build consciousness, then our life comes from that place. So I found that my trip from New York was all about that, because I had to trust before I left. Leaving this island for me is not easy. It's not easy. I'm one of those ones that stick to the rock. And I'm all right once I leave, but getting to let go and just get on the plane and actually take off for me is just uncomfortable. So I stretched a lot of my my comfort zones by leaving. And I think it's good. I mean, I really felt like I grew up on this trip in a lot of ways. I stepped into my power, and I stepped into that abundance consciousness at even a higher level, because it's not cheap to leave this island, right? It's not like it's not 14 days gone and all the things I wanted to do with my mom and my family in New York and stuff. But I said, you know what? When you make a demand on the universe, it has to meet the demand. I'm talking to a friend of mine right now about that, because he's having some issues with financially. And I said, when you make a demand on the universe, it has to meet the demand. It has to, if you're clear. And if you're not looking at the outside and making your judgments from there. If you're looking at your checkbook and making your demands on the universe from there, that is not clarity. Clarity is saying, this is what I want, this is what I know I can have, and believing in it, as Roseanne said, and then walking from that place. Does that mean you jump into the biggest, thing that you only go as far as you can go? So the things that I experienced might seem like little things to people, but to me, they were huge things. Huge. So, but what I found when I was coming from an abundance consciousness, that I kept getting upgrades. This talk could have been called the upgrades, because when you're coming from that place, things happen. Like, you were in a center seat, and all of a sudden, you're moved up 3 rows into an aisle seat. I got called to the agent's desk twice on this trip, and they called my name over the loudspeaker. I'm like, what the heck is this? Why are they calling me? And then it was all about giving me a better seat, and no reason for it. They were just giving, probably because one of the times somebody was wanted to sit next to their husband, and I was in a center seat, so they moved me up to put those people together or something like that. So I mean, it was little. That's nothing, right? It's nothing. But to me, it's a sign that when you live in a consciousness of abundance, that things start to happen. Things starts to flow. Things start to be not so difficult, and you're not judging it from the outside. There were all like little amenities that just kept happening to me the whole time, little things that I didn't expect, I just was not expecting them, but I was expecting to have, like Patrick always tells me, you're going like a queen. That's what you're doing. You're going like a queen, and just always remember that. And so I did. So and thanks to my sister, who, it was snowing and sleeting one day, and she's like, it was the only day we had together, and she goes, let's go into New York City and see Waitress. And I was like, oh, okay, means getting on a train and doing all this stuff, right? And if it hadn't been for her, I probably wouldn't have gone, because then when it snowed the next day, I was like, well, maybe we'll just, no, we're going. We never get to do something like this. Our birthdays are coming, and her birthday's in March. We could do it together. And I said, well, she goes, we're going to see Waitress. That's what we're going to see. And so we got there, and I could feel us compromising, because we went to Ticketmaster, or whatever that thing is in Times Square, to get our tickets, because you do it that day, if you don't have reservations. And I felt us compromising. We said, oh, well, if the tickets for Waitress aren't there, we'll just go to see this or go to see that or whatever. And then we stopped, and I said, Maria, we treated that we would see Waitress and that we would get really great seats. So let's keep with it. We're seeing waitress. That's what we're doing. That's why we came here. And Jason Mraz and Sarah Bareilles. And I said, okay. We walked right to the front of the line and got orchestra 9th row seats. I mean, it was like, it just flowed. I can't, it's just flowed. And you know what else too? It's like, how do you look at life? Like, where are you looking at it from? We went through like hell to get to that, to what some people would consider hell to get there, slipping and sliding on ice and crushed subways. But we had such a great time. We were just laughing. And I find that about me and my sister. We had a past that, in our family that wasn't, some of us have, right? But we always laugh about it. We see it like, oh my God, I can't believe we experienced that. Wow. And we find the humor, we find the good in it. And when I looked at everything I was doing from that standpoint, including delays on flights, one delay, oh my God, they had to get a dog off the plane. It was like, all of a sudden the pilot goes, everybody, we're deplaning right now. And we were like, what do you think when you're deplaning right before takeoff? Something's wrong with the plane, right? And everybody's getting up and the suitcases are flying all over the place. Then 5 minutes later he goes, all right. He goes, everybody sit down, we're not deplaning. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on here? And then we find out there was a dog on the plane that they couldn't get off that had tried to bite one of the flight attendants. I know. But the people next to me were like, oh my God, they were like complaining their heads off about this was the worst flight. And I was just like, wow, this is really something. I'm getting to experience really something here. And then the guy's taking pictures of the wing of the plane telling me that it's being held together with duct tape. And he's showing it to me and he's like, I'm going to put this on YouTube. And I don't know what it was still. Anyway, I had a blast. But it was all about where I was coming from. I said, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to go as a queen. And I did, and I had a good time. And when things came up like that, I mean, most people, like when your flight's delayed, they're like, oh, I cannot believe it, my flight's delayed, and they're all complaining in one way. Yeah, we're New Yorkers, we complain. I know people don't like us, but that's what we do. All right, so, we wonder why there's not that many Signs of Mine churches in New York. I think there's one. Anyway, they don't want to give that out. But hey, I grew up there, so I'm a New Yorker, so I know what they're talking about. But fortunately, I found this philosophy. Anyway, and the other thing was like my family. It's not. You turn into, like Patrick said last week in his talk, you tend to turn into a little kid when you're with your family. I mean, I don't know if anybody can identify with that. But you think that you're really powerful until you go visit your family, and then all of a sudden it's like, and they still see you like you used to be, and you're like, and you can't convince them. So just stand in your power and don't take any IT, okay? Because that's what I ended up doing. I had a little confrontation when I was there, and I stood in my power. And I said, you know what? You're not going to do this. You're not going to talk to me this way. That's it. Because I'll just as easily. I stayed in a hotel, which was a good thing. Always stay in your hotel when you're with your family. I love my family. I love them, especially, but you have to stand in your power, and I did. Where was I coming from? I was coming from a consciousness that I said this trip is going to be great no matter what. And it is, because that's the way spirit works. So what I know is that when you're clear, what does it mean to be clear? It's like you know that you know. I mean, that little waitress scenario, I knew that I knew. It was like a gut feeling that you get, that you just go, wow. I knew when I stepped up to my family, I knew that I didn't have to take that. I knew that I knew who I was. And that I'm really a great person, and I don't have to have people treat me that way. So you know that you know, and you're clear. And that night when I came home with my family, that whole little incident that happened, I fell apart. And I called my husband, and we treated. I felt awful. And then we treated. And then everything started to, sort itself out. And the next morning when I woke up, it was like the whole energy just shifted. Because I stood in my power, and I knew what I knew, and everything else changed. I don't know if they really changed inside. This is not my business, really. My only business is to know what I know. Your only business is to know what you know, and to be clear. And once you're clear, I'm telling you, everything falls into place and everything flows. And we want life to flow, right? Life's not supposed to be difficult. We're not supposed to be struggling. We're not supposed to be unhappy. We're supposed to have joy and be happy. And we have to start right where we are. We can't go further than where we are. We have to start right here, but we have to, like Ernest Holmes says, we have to always know that it is getting better and better and better. Sometimes we can't leap to a Broadway show. We got to start in community theater and just start right here, you know? Yeah, I'm so glad to be home, and I'm so grateful for this teaching, because this teaching gets me through, because I walk my talk. I take it and I use it. I use it. I don't just think about it in meditation, or I take it and use it in the little things. And then when the big things come, and there were big things too. I mean, you know, things like people being diagnosed with things and things you have to support people in. But those big things will be easier for you, and you'll be clearer when you can deal with the little things. But sometimes we just wait until the big things happen, and then we expect, you know, to have some big revelation. We have to start where we are, and we're always supported. My belief, and I always had this saying, was that the universe conspires in my favor. Everything is for us, not against us. Everything, and I mean everything, is for us. And I really feel like I really grew up a notch on this trip. And I really am grateful for where I live. I am so grateful. I know people are happy where they are, and I trust and know that being crammed on a subway every day and not being able to breathe is really that they're getting joy out of it. I mean, my son, he lives in New York, and he's like, I like it, Mom. And I'm like, okay, that's great. You like it. That's wonderful. Thank God he likes it, right? He gets on that train every morning, goes to work, and comes home at, 8 o'clock at night, and he likes it and takes care of his family. That's good. We all have a different way, right? So I know what I like, and I like it here. So I am grateful. So, there's more, but hey, I'll write a book. So, namaste. Take it away, Maria.
All I see and all I have is all because of you. All I read is all I saw, and love is all living proof. Thank you for life. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you. Seasons come and seasons go, no matter what we choose. 1,000 ways, 1,000 roads, all lead to one simple truth. Thank you for life. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you. Thank you for life. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you.
Thank you. Ooh. So Rita's back. How y'all doing? You're looking very good today, by the way, just to let you know. Steve Bogdanov, I don't usually call people out, but I just want to let you know you are an inspiration to me today, and I mean that. We've all been together as family for a long time, and when you walk in with that Tigger thing going on in your head, man, I said, now that is inspiration. Oh, thank you. And we have another one right here. Before we know it, everybody will be wearing little hats. Very cultish, if you ask me. But you didn't. So, here we go. Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? You know I know. Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from in consciousness will determine where you are going in your world and experience. Boy, if you get that and just land with that, where I'm coming from in my consciousness right now is where I'm going to end up. I'm on my way. And that can be changed at any time. Ernest Holmes wrote, we should not be surprised when we demonstrate something we want. We should be surprised if we don't. Wow. Right? I was thinking today about this becoming. I was in talking with some friends, and they said, you keep saying whatever it is that you want to experience, you have to become it first. You have to become it first. I want a relationship. How do I become that? I want a new house. How do I become a house? Such literal people. How do I become a house? How do I become money? How do I become... And then I said, let's sit down. This is going to be a while. Becoming what you desire, and it took me a while too, but I realized I was actually trained pretty well because I had many, many years as an actor, and some people just think that you're out there pretending to be something, but you need to become the character or you are not believable. And you need to believe it in order to become it. And I thought, I was going through my whole background in acting, and I thought, my moment-to-moment training, my filling up a new character, and it just started giving me the God bumps, And I started thinking, wow, I was already being trained for ministry while I was being trained as an actor because I took it seriously. I was one of those real James Dean, like, if I don't feel it, I can't be it, give me my cigarette in my New York, crowded subways. But what I got from it was a great training about how you become something and how do you. It's because you have to let go of all the garbage of what you think you are. Talk about metaphysics. I remember this one time, and it came back to me. I was in an acting class with a real New York coach, and he didn't let you get away with anything. If you weren't believable, man, he stopped you. You're faking. And I was going, no, I'm not. I'm really here. I'm really in the moment. No, you're not. You're lying, man. You have to become the character. Become the character. And I remember it was from 27 Wagons Full of Cotton by Tennessee Williams. And I was playing Mr. Vaccaro, and he was a dominant character, where he was going to go to Mrs. Mayhem, which was, a married woman, and he was about to tell her how dominant he really was. And she was one of this Tennessee Williams characters. I can still remember her. She was wonderful. And she was laying on this thing and having a julep. And it was all hot. And all I know is I remember as a 24-year-old boy going, I'm so scared. I'm more like John Ritter. How did I get this part, And because he was supposed to walk in totally, you know what I mean? Totally. And I'm in the wings going, I feel nothing. I'm going to walk in there as the dominant Mr. Vaccaro, and inside I felt like a little boy who was about to go meet Mrs. Robinson. I was really scared. So let me tell you, you wonder how this is being spiritually connected, I bet. Here we go. Now we're going in now, we're landing. So here we go. So I'm thinking, and there was a mirror there. I don't know where this came from in my memory. I was probably 25 years old. And I went, I can't do this. And I had these boots on because I thought the boots were going to make me something. You know, I got boots, so I'm dominant. And the whole time, Gomer Pyle is totally physically here, you know. So I did something really weird. I looked in the mirror and I said, you got to believe it, man. You know, forget all this other stuff. You know, you're dominant. You can walk in there, and you are the confident one. I was trying to build it up, and all of a sudden, I took the boots and I stuck my pants inside the boots, like, you know, when you're going riding. And I started, like, getting in the mirror, and I saw the riding boots going on. And all of a sudden, I went from little boy to let's bring her on. Bring her on. And something happened with me by physically seeing something in me, the boots tucked in, the outside, right? The outside going inside. And sometimes we have to do that, is my point. So I walked on that stage, and talk about a grown-up moment. I walked in literally as a boy, and I became a man on that stage because I believed it. I believed that there was some part of me that was Vaccaro. Some part of me was the character. Some part of me did live on a plantation. Some part of me did know exactly how to handle women. Some part of me was dominant. Some part of me was going to be able to do this scene. Some part of me that was deep down inside of me knew how to handle it. And I thought, this is metaphysics. You have to fill up with your character. And your character isn't fake. Your character is spirit. And you fill up with that. And I remember thinking to myself, all of this. It said, I love this about Laurence Olivier. He was talking about how he became a character, and the goal of a trained actor is to become a fully realized three-dimensional character. And they talked about him, and he said he loves to put like the big noses on and all of this stuff to add, and the hump on the back and the wardrobe to come in and do it. But at the end of the day, it's what spirit is telling you. You can't fake it. Have you ever watched a good performance? It's only good if they're authentic. The people that really become who and what they are. And I thought to myself, I really appreciate my training. And then a second point was Tony Robbins. We all know who Tony Robbins is. And I looked for this quote all week, and I finally found it. He says, I'm a kid from Azusa, California, who did not have any certainty. But I was certain of one thing. I was not going to grow up and have a family that was going to go through what I went through. And here's what I really want us to hear. And so I constructed this thing called Tony Robbins. I constructed him. I created him. He was me, but I built this thing called Tony Robbins. And I remember hearing it in the documentary, and I just went, I got to find this quote. I constructed him. I created him. He was me, but I built this thing called Tony Robbins. Well, like my acting teacher, he said, well, Patrick's one of those people outside in. He needs to get the outside and see that, create that, and prepare for that, and then he can feel it on the inside. Well, I've changed a lot in that, but I say whatever works. I say that he's a perfect example that his upbringing, his pain was so great that it birthed him into something new. And we're all there. We're all there about that. It doesn't matter if someone said, well, I'm really content with my life. And I said, well, I'm glad the universe wasn't content with just a moon and a sun. There's a cosmos. And then it said, I got that. And then something more, and something more. And like Rita said, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme that we're dealing with, but know thyself. And I'm thinking to myself, what is it about myself, about Patrick? What am I creating? How am I constructing? The person that walked on this island 5 years ago, is not the same man that's standing before you right now. I have grown. I have allowed that universal flow to come through me, to know me, to express. God said I had an idea. It was Tony Robbins. But Tony Robbins just didn't sit there. If he did, he was just sitting on a couch. His mother was very codependent. His mother was on drugs and did a whole bunch of stuff, prescription stuff, and he just took care of his mother. And he could have said, this is it. This is all I got. And he said, I got an idea. I'm going to construct something. Something so powerful that it's going to move and it's going to touch other people's lives. And it's going to touch, and that's what we're doing every single day of our lives, everywhere, anywhere we go. Anywhere we go, we are influencing one another. And you don't have to be Tony Robbins to do that. Though there are moments of Tony Robbins that I think are quite fun when he's up there screaming. And I did actually edit him because he F-bombs a little bit. But I thought, I don't need to go there. And here's another thing. Watch your judgment, right? Because Tony Robbins, I remember being in New York and playing his little tapes. I got up the money, $129 for 12 tapes, and I would hear him, yeah. But then he started, dropping the F-bomb about a year ago, and I got all righteous. Oh, Tony. You don't need to do that, because he calls me personally to get that information from me. Oh, Patrick, I know. Let me explain myself to you. But he drops the F-bomb, and he does it for shock value, to kind of like a paradigm thing to knock you out. I will not be using that technique here on Sundays. But, and I just thought to myself, oh, Tony. I thought, oh, Patrick, judge, man. So whatever it is that you need to do. So whether it's the outside or the inside. So let's go back to this relationship thing, and then I'll start wrapping up here. So they say, well, how do I become the relationship so I can have that perfect soulmate? And I said, well, you become what it is that you want in that soulmate. What, your soulmate's going to do as you say? No, you do. You become that. What do you want? I want a loving, I want a powerful person to come in that I can come home and I can talk to. I want it to be like, and she even said, I want it to be like, how you and Rita are. I said, no, we need to go away from that for a second. Even though that it's a wonderful, loving, wonderful example of a perfect relationship, I would have to say that you need to find your own relationship with yourself. And whatever it is that's in you that you want, and however you want wealth, let that be. That's how you behave. You are not, and I can say this with full confidence, attracting wealth if you're living from a lack consciousness. Impossible. You will only mirror that. If you do not think highly of yourself, you do not think you are worthy of anything, who are you going to attract as your soulmate? Another person is feeling unworthy of themselves. And then you've got two people together, unworthy, going, how do we get here? Wealth. I cannot be wealthy thinking that I am not. I cannot be peaceful behaving not peacefully. I cannot be condemning my next door neighbor and then calling out for world peace. I cannot do that. And so I'm learning as I go along too in my life is that I need to not only walk my talk, but talk my walk. These are not empty words that come up. I am learning every single day. It takes practice. It takes courage to be spiritual in this day and age. Because it's so easy to fall into the outside world. And I'm saying no. No, I don't have to. Just like that little kid, I don't have to. Yeah, but you don't get it. You don't get it my life. I get it, but you don't understand. Oh, yes, I do understand. We attract what we become. So you want a loving relationship, think of all of those things. And maybe you might have to tuck your pants in your boots. Just so that you feel that maybe you might need to. I remember somebody said, I leave the place, next to my bed, kind of open, ready for that person to come. I put in the closet, the little area there, right? So think about it for today, till we meet next week. Think about it as whatever you think you're desiring, that you're wanting in your life. And then take a look in the mirror and see if you're reflecting that. You wealthy? You want to be wealthy? You want to be healthy? You go, yeah, but I'm not, I just got a diagnosis, Patrick. How am I supposed to feel? I know people that have experienced the diagnosis, but I will not accept a prognosis. I tell that to my doctor all the time. You can tell me, she's calling right now, as a matter of fact. It's probably Tony going, I've been watching you, and thanks for putting down the F-bomb on the... I tell my doctor, I said, when we first met, I said, you know what, we have to get something straight here. Not because I'm a minister, but I got to let you know something. Anything you got to say about me, you can tell me what an x-ray says, but you're not going to tell me how it's going to play out. You're not going to tell me. I am not your statistic ever. I am not a statistic in anyone's life. I'm my own. And so whatever they say, and yes, I can gather information and gather it and learn from it. And so every time she goes, well, I noticed something, and I go, diagnosis? No prognosis. I am the prognosis of my own life, in wealth, in my relationships, in everything. All righty. So what does Buddha say? Let's end with Buddha, shall we? Because I looked in the mirror and saw myself as the character, Buddha says, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. And as I look out, I see that you are becoming, and you already are, so magnificent. Namaste.
In this very room, there's quite another love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to make it through any fear. For spirit, pure spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to make it through any fear. For spirit, pure spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to make it through any fear. For spirit, pure spirit, is in this very room.
I love that song.
I love that song. Thank you so much. Okay, it's our time of giving. And just focus on where your gift is coming from. That's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how much it is. It's what is it coming from? Because that will create what it can do. So let it come from a place of abundance. And I know that it does. So we're grateful for all the gifts given here today at Center for Spiritual Living Kauai. They go forth to help the center and out into the world too in our tithing programs. So thank you for what you give today. And we have an affirmation in our program. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai, myself, and the world. Oh, I said myself. And so it is. Myself, my life, hey. All right, we have a song to sing. A Daniel Nahmod song.
All that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all, for it all. All that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all, for it all. All that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all, for it all.
I am so grateful for it all, for all of the pieces of paper in these baskets, but for all of the consciousness that came into these baskets and all of the good that flows throughout the universe. I am so grateful. So all of this goes to perfect usage of, to support CSL, but to go out further into the community and into our world. So I would like to just say thank you, mahalo, as we affirm together. And so it is.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have any children today?
Yes, we do, actually.
Are they coming in?
Analea?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I wanted to say one thing that I didn't say before. I ordered these, and they came in, and I didn't even mention it. It's the Abundance book. We're going to be using a lot of masters on Thursday, but this little book came in, and it's just wonderful. But the real thing that I want to intend on Thursday is that you become the master. We have lots of wonderful things to use to guide us, but you're the master. You're the master of your life. So that's what we're going to do. But this book is in, and Roseanne will be back there with that. And we're going to also be, go ahead about the practitioners up here.
Okay.
Might as well
So
fill in
we
the,
might as well fill in the time. Okay. Oh, no, here they come. Are they coming? No. All right.
go ahead.
So we have practitioners that are in service today. Roseanne, you're in service. And
Reverend Diane.
Reverend Diane, you're in service today. And Malia and Rob.
And Rob.
Malia, you're in service?
yes.
Okay, great. And
So,
one of
yeah.
us are going to be up here?
Yeah.
I'll be up here.
Okay, good.
All right. And if anything's come up for you, or if there's something you want to know more about in your life, use a practitioner, because they will know the truth for you. They will know who you really are. So when you can't see it for yourself.
And I want to
So-
say this before Lily
Yeah.
comes up, because she doesn't like to have things known about her. But anyway, she spotted me.
She likes to have things known
But
about her.
anyway, she
That's
raises
just true.
money off and on for our building fund here, because she intends to be youth minister someday. No, not hide. I know, she does. She says, don't do it. She just wants me to do it, but I couldn't help myself. But anyway, she raised $26.
Wow, Ruby.
And then brought it, and I didn't
Come on
break
up.
my promise. I didn't break my promise. We don't even know her. She's going by another name now.
All right. We won't point her out.
We won't. We can't even. But let's give it up for them. All three of them.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo! And George. So, George, you have something to say. Watch that speaker, George.
I'm watching the speaker. I know I fall down all the time. All right. This isn't about me.
Oh, Ruby.
Ruby.
Oh, I told her she was.
Shoot. Today we made these. I didn't get to finish mine though.
It takes courage.
Today's theme was courage.
Yeah,
Who you
really are.
really. Oh, yeah, that's great. How perfect, right?
And then we
The other
had.
thing is,
I think we had to do. Can you say please?
okay, she had to do little things here. It says, I am brilliant because, and I am great because, and they had to say why. And this one here said, I am great because I am me. But then they did a project all by themselves, and they're going to be doing something for the rest of you guys.
All right. Wow, they were busy, right?
A Valentine's Day gift.
Oh. Oh. How sweet is that?
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And that was their project. It wasn't mine.
And see, we don't even know their names, so they'll never know.
Oh. That's awesome.
Oh, that is great. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. So I want to give them their blessing, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys have to come back up here now. Oh, actually.
Yeah,
Come on
come.
up back. Be careful, though.
And then you can finish it.
You could finish that. Come on up. Sarah. Amelia. That's
Oh,
all right.
it's okay.
It's the thought
You
that
almost had
counts.
it.
It's the thought. Everybody feels blessed, right? So let's let them know who you are, who they are. You are amazing. You are perfect. You are magnificent. And we love you. And so it is.
So
Woo!
it is.
Thank you, George. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're ready.
Grab your papers.
So before we close, then, the practitioners are up here, and Rap with the Revs is right after this. Well, as soon as we have our little community time, we'll set up the chairs. All right? So
Alrighty.
that's about it. I
All
think
right.
we're done. Shall we? All right.
All right, let's close out. Everybody want to stand with all this beautiful energy that we have today.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating is what. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through.
Yes, let that way of the heart shine through. And what I know is shining right here and right now is each and every one of us, because we have come here on purpose. And I am so grateful that it is just pouring out of me. Perfect time for Valentine's Day, because it's pouring out of my heart right here and right now. I want to take time to thank the Malama team. That's Angela, Luis, and Emma, who greeted us and just takes care of us all through the service. And Jonathan and Rob back there, thank you for everything that you do. Roseanne for that wonderful, wonderful treatment. For the beautiful flowers, Arlena and Peter. And Roseanne back in the bookstore again, and Ron Stover, who takes good care of all of those wonderful, delicious treats that we have, and those beautiful children. And Janice and George, who just keep this entire energy of our kids going, and that they think so much about love that they just want to share their Valentine card with us. And I want to welcome back this wonderful, wonderful Reverend Rita from her Grow Up tour. And I just say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for stepping in here today, stepping in here and just allowing your consciousness to shine through. And so we all become one. And so that is the good news. I just want to thank everyone online who watches us and lets us know that that is such a big, integral part of their lives to allow us to come into their room and their house. So I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, life. Thank you, life. And I just release my word knowing that it is already done, as together with gratitude we say,
And so it is.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating is one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through.
Reverend Kaya on